welcome to yoga. My name's Melissa. I'm really glad that you could join me today. Our sequence is going to involve a nice grounding practice at the beginning, doing a little bit different sun salutation that focuses on being more gentle with our lower back if we have any lower back issues or any discomforts, and then finishing with a nice relaxing shavasana. And we're going to be using some props today, so you'll need a nice cozy blanket or towel, whatever you have handy at home, and then a set of blocks or books. So let's make our way down onto our backs. Knees are bent, feet are nice and connected to the floor, finding a nice comfortable position. Maybe that means bringing your feet out to the edges of your mat, bringing your knees in together to support one another. Palms can either be face down or face up, seeing how you feel today. And then bringing your awareness into your lower back. Feeling it connected to the back of your mat. Feeling your upper body connected to the back of your mat. Begin to relax your head, your shoulders, your upper back, your middle section, your lower back and hips into the mat. Maybe your eyes are closed here or open, finding what is most comfortable to you today in your own practice. Releasing the tension you might be holding in your jaw. Relaxing the skin around your eyes. Begin to bring your awareness to your breathing. And then if you'd like to connect more to your breath and your body, you can choose to bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly. And just observe the rising and falling of your chest and your belly. As you ground yourself into the floor, into your body. Some thoughts may trickle in your mind. Allow yourself to notice them and then let them go, bringing your attention back to your breath. And then gently bring your hands off your chest and belly. Palms can be facing up towards the ceiling. And then if your knees are supporting one another, bringing those knees apart, bringing those feet so they're hip-width distance apart. We're going to send our awareness into our pelvis area here. And we're just going to start to bring in a scooping motion into that area. So we're pressing our lower back into the mat, kind of scooping up our seat bones.
tilting, having kind of a curve in our lower back as we press our belly up towards the ceiling. And then finding this rocking motion, this lower back connection as we press into our mat and then lifting off the mat. Eyes can remain closed here or a gentle gaze up towards the ceiling. Just bringing our awareness into our pelvis, into our lower back. Linking this movement with your own breath. Let's do one more here. And then coming back to center. Maybe noticing any sensations or feelings in that part of the body. If there is none, that's okay as well. And then on your next inhale, we're going to extend those hands back behind us. And in this supine position, we're going to do a side bend here. So if you want to interlace those fingers or choose them to be apart, we're going to lift up our upper back, reaching over to the right side. So we're opening up that left side, making a little curve in the right side of the body. Breathing here. Inhale back to center, staying here for a breath. And then lifting that upper back up, reaching over to the left side, opening up that right side of the body. And then inhale as we come back to center. We're going to ignite our core here. So we're going to bring those hands back behind our head, interlacing those fingers, kind of cupping the bottom of our skull there. And we're going to lift our upper back off the mat. And we're going to bring that left knee in to meet that left elbow. And they do not have to touch here. So we're just kind of engaging that core, bringing that awareness into that space. And our upper shoulders are going to remain off the floor with our hands supporting our head and neck. So linking this to your breath at your own pace, alternating left leg to right leg as they come towards your elbows. Kind of feeling those muscles heating up here. Let's do one more on each side. Release those hands, release those shoulders, head and neck. Take a few breaths here. And then we're going to roll on either side. And then gently press up. We're going to come into tabletop. Spreading those fingers out wide, making sure knees are below our hips, wrists are below shoulders. Let's find that cat-cow, sending the front of the body towards our mat. Gaze goes out to the room, the side of the room. And then curving that back, tucking that chin. Feeling this movement all the way from the top of our head to the tip of our tailbone. Feeling that lengthening. Envisioning our spine moving and lubricating that.
area. Let's do 2 more here. Last one. And then we're going to tuck those toes, grab those blocks or books as we come back into a squat. So we're going to be kind of up on the balls of our feet, so heels are kind of off the ground a little bit here. And their blocks are here to kind of help us stabilize us. And so finding that height which works best for you. So you could go the tallest height or the middle range or the lowest height. Finding that comfort here. And then we're going to place those hands onto the floor. This is that sun salutation. It's a little bit different. We're going to walk it out to that plank and know that you can always find half plank here as well. And then lowering down through that chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra, lifting that chest off the floor. And then coming through tabletop, coming into downward facing dog. Breathing here for a few rounds. We're going to do this a couple more times. And then we're going to really bend those knees as we walk our hands back to the back of our mat, finding a forward fold, releasing our head and neck. And then finding that block support coming down into that squat. Ooh, taking a breath here. And then let's find that plank. Full plank or half plank. Lowering down through that chaturanga. Lifting the chest, baby cobra. Releasing. Pressing through to tabletop, coming into down dog. If you want to find some movement here, bending one knee and then the other, you can, or if stillness feels more comfortable to your body, listening to that and honoring it today. And then bending those knees, walking those hands back to the back of our meet our feet. Forward fold here, release head and neck. Might feel good to shake it side to side, front to back. Release that tension. And then we're going to do this 2 more times. Let's find that squat. And I also want to invite you, if you want to resort to the Vinyasa sun salutations without incorporating this squat, you're more than welcome to do that too. So just honoring and listening to your body and what your body needs today. Finding that plank pose or half plank. Lowering to chaturanga, baby cobra. Releasing, tabletop down dog. Taking a few rounds of breath here. And then walking those hands back to meet those feet, forward fold. This is going to be our last round of these sun salutations. This time I'm just going to allow you to go at your own pace, and then we'll meet in forward fold. As you make your way into forward fold here, inhale,
way, lift, lengthening through the spine, gazes down. Exhale, forward fold, gently moving those blocks or books off your mat, but still in a spot where you could reach them at any time. And then slowly coming up to standing, taking a few breaths here. And then we're going to find warrior one. So planting that right foot down, swinging those toes so they're kind of facing alongside of your mat. We're going to step that left leg forward, finding warrior one. And then since we're keeping our focus in our lower back here, we're going to just bring the hands out straight in front. This kind of alleviates a little bit of pressure we might feel if our hands extended all the way up towards the sky. But this is just a suggestion, so if you feel more comfortable here, great. But if you want to try this one, that's great as well. Holding here for a few breaths. And then releasing those hands down onto the mat. Let's find that high lunge here. Lengthening through that spine, releasing that knee down onto the floor. Making sure our legs are at a 90 degrees so that knee is below that hip and then the ankle's below the knee here. And we're just going to find a nice side bend. So reaching up with that left arm as we bend, reach over to the right. Exhale back to center, lengthening with that right arm, reaching over to the left. Exhale, release that. Hands come down, finding that high lunge again. We're going to take that back foot, make it into that warrior two, so the outside of our foot is parallel with the long side of our mat. Slowly coming up, finding warrior two here. Making sure that knee is kind of, you're sending it out towards that pinky toe. And we're breathing here. And knowing that you can still have warrior two legs, but you can bring your hands onto your hips if this is too much for that lower back area. So always listening to yourself, you know your body, and honoring what your body needs. And then we're going to bring our hands to our hips if they're not already there, extending that left leg, and we're going to find half triangle. So taking that left arm out as we reach slightly forward, and then finding that placement on the top of that thigh here. And then just opening, maybe your gaze goes towards the ceiling or out to the front of the room. And we're breathing here. And then inhale, coming back into that warrior two. Let's windmill those arms down. Stepping back into down dog. Let's walk those hands back. We're going to find forward fold. Grabbing those blocks, we're going to do a sun salutation here. And again, choosing this sun salutation at the back of your mat, or there's always the traditional sun salutation. So coming into that squat, breathing here, pressing through to that plank, kind of gliding on your mat, kind of plank or half plank, chaturanga, baby cobra, tabletop to down dog. Taking a few rounds of breath here. Bending those knees, walking those hands back to your feet, finding forward fold. Removing those blocks again. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. And then bending those knees, slowly rolling all the way up to standing. Let's take a breath here. Checking in with our body. Checking in with our breath. And then we're going to find warrior one on that left side. So swiveling that foot out so the toes are kind of facing the left side of the mat at a 45-degree angle. And we're going to step that right leg forward, finding warrior one, and choosing the arms that work for you. So straight out in front or reaching up towards the ceiling. Taking a few rounds of breath here. And then exhale, bringing those hands down to the floor, finding that high lunge, releasing that left knee down onto the mat, finding that 90-degree legs. Reaching up with that right arm, reaching over to the left, finding that side bend. Releasing that right arm, left arm comes up, reaches to the right. Exhale, releasing those hands back down, coming up into that high lunge. Swiveling that back foot so the outside of the foot is parallel to the short side of the mat. I'm just going to turn around so I'm facing you. And then coming up into that warrior two. And then hands can either be at those hips or coming into a T. And we're breathing here. And then bringing those hands to your hips if they're not already there, extending that right leg, and then finding half triangle. So extending out that right arm, reaching towards the side of the room, and then placing that hand on the top of that thigh, opening up the chest here. And then knowing if there's any discomfort in that front knee, knowing that you can always have a slight bend there. And then let's inhale back to that warrior two, sending gaze towards the side of the room. And then windmilling those arms down, finding high lunge. And then stepping through to down dog. And then let's find that sun salutation. So we're going to walk our hands back to meet our feet. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, coming into that squat. And then gliding on through to that plank or half plank. Lowering through to chaturanga, baby cobra, tabletop coming into that downward facing dog. Checking in with your breath here. Checking in with your body. And then on our next exhale, we're going to bring those knees down onto our mat. Making sure knees are below hips.
Do a couple rounds here, linking that movement to your breath. Last one. And then we're going to take those back legs, cross the ankles, and then press back, come through, bring the legs forward. We're going to bring that left foot into that right inner thigh. Finding a nice forward fold here. Inhaling the hands as you reach up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, hinging forward over that bent knee. Making sure that our back is nice and straight here. We don't want to be curving into our body. We want to keep that chest nice and open. So if that means that we're hinging forward here, we want to keep that integrity in our spine. Knowing there's no one way that a pose looks. There's no right or wrong way a pose should look. Everyone's body is unique, so every pose is going to look different. And then inhale back to center, releasing that left leg, bringing in that right foot to meet that inner left thigh. Inhaling as we reach towards the ceiling. Exhale as we hinge over that bent leg. Keeping that spine nice and straight, chest is open. Feel free to close your eyes here if that feels comfortable, or find a gentle gaze on the floor. And then coming back up, we're going to bring those bottom of our feet in together. If your blocks are close by, we're going to come into butterfly. And blocks are really great to use if you need a little bit of support underneath those knees, finding the height that works best for you. Grabbing on to the fronts of our shins or ankles. Inhaling, lengthening here as though a string is pulling from the middle of your head. And then exhale, keeping that spine nice and straight. Heart and chest are open. Release the tension in your jaw if you're clenching. And noticing your breath. Ooh, inhale back to center, release those blocks, bringing our knees in together, kind of squeezing them. And then let's send those legs straight out in front of us, finding staff pose. If you want a moment here to kind of wiggle out those legs, that feels good. And then finding that stillness, pressing those heels into your mat. And this inhale here can be straight out in front of us, or hands can point up towards the ceiling. So inhaling here too, finding that forward bend. Ooh, inhale back to center. Let's bring those feet so they're touching our mat. Scooting
coming to the center of our mat if you're not already there. And then we're just going to lower down onto our mat, moving those blocks away. We no longer need them, making sure that we can reach that blanket. Coming down onto the floor. We're going to bring that left leg into the body, kind of squeezing it, and then releasing it, and then interlacing those fingers back behind that thigh, sending that left leg up towards the ceiling. And if you want to point and flex that foot, it's just a suggestion. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Releasing the tension in the jaw. Ooh, releasing those hands, allowing that left leg to come down. Maybe bringing your awareness to your lower back. And then lifting that right leg up, bringing it into the body. Releasing that shin, bringing the hands back behind that thigh, interlacing the fingers, sending that right leg up towards the ceiling, pointing and flexing here. Releasing any tension you might be holding in your face. And then allow that right leg to come down onto the floor. Bring your arms out to a T, stepping our feet out to the width of our mat. Let's find some windshield wipers, letting those knees fall from one side to the other, nice and gentle. If you feel any tension when your knees come down onto the mat, maybe holding it there, breathing through it for a few rounds, and then resuming that movement. Let's do one more on each side. Coming back to center. And we're going to begin to prepare for Shavasana. So if you would like to do any more movements or postures that your body might be kind of craving, then please do that now. We are going to be using that blanket, and it's going to be folded into kind of a quarter fold. So bringing that to where it hits the kind of tops of your shoulders and supporting your neck and head. And then taking our hands, we're going to make a little roll with this. So we're going to roll the blanket and rolling it to your comfort. So depending on the thickness of your towel or blanket, that might be a little bit different. So finding that, so it's kind of supporting your neck, supporting that curvature in your neck. And then when you find that roll that feels good to you, we're going to take our hands to the outsides of that blanket or towel, tucking it in to the underneath our blanket. So it's kind of encompassing our jaw and maybe the sides of our face. So it's making a nice little like cocoon or safe, comforting space for our head and neck. And then releasing your legs down, extending them out to the bottom of your mat, finding a relaxing spot for your body. You can also keep your knees bent and bring your feet out to the width of your mat and allow your knees to come in and support one another, if that feels good to you. And then we're just going to relax and sink into our mat as we go into Shavasana. You can gently close your eyes if that is comfortable to you, or allow them to remain open and just find a gentle gaze up on the ceiling. And then allowing your feet to fall out to the sides. Palms can be face up or down. Taking a few inhales and exhales. And then starting at our feet, just going to allow those toes to release and relax. Releasing and relaxing your feet. Releasing and relaxing your ankles. Moving up to your calves. Releasing and relaxing. Allowing your kneecaps to fall out to the side of your mat. Coming into your thighs, allowing them to release and relax. Release and relax your hip bones. Release and relax your lower back. Release and relax your belly. Release and relax your ribs and chest. Releasing and relaxing your upper back and your shoulders. Releasing and relaxing your upper arms. Relaxing your elbows. Releasing and relaxing your forearms and your wrists. Releasing and relaxing the palm of both hands. Releasing and relaxing your fingers. And then bringing your attention to your neck. Releasing and relaxing. Releasing and relaxing your jaw. Allowing your tongue to fall to the back of your throat. Releasing and relaxing the skin around your eyes. Releasing and relaxing your eyebrows and your forehead. And then lastly, releasing and relaxing your head. Letting this release and relax wash over your entire body. releasing and relaxing your entire body. Noticing the gentle rhythmic movement of your breath as your body is relaxing. Holding on to this relaxed feeling in your whole body, the feeling of released muscles, released tension. To wash over your whole body. Holding on to the sensations in your body. Slowly begin to awaken your head, maybe looking from side to side, nice and gentle. Maybe circling your wrists, wiggling those fingers slightly, circling those ankles, finding some movement in those toes. Gently bringing yourself back to this space, back to your body. And then slowly bringing your feet so they're touching the floor, knees are bent. And then finding your way onto either side. Rolling onto one side. Taking a few breaths here. As your body starts to awaken. And then when you feel ready, slowly finding yourself in easy pose. Eyes can remain closed or open. Hands gently lying on the tops of your thighs. Bringing our palms together, thumbs to sternum. Thank yourself for showing up today, showing gratitude to your body, to yourself.